Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the ObaNutrition channel. Today, in this episode, I'll be sharing with you why water is the most important nutrient for a healthy heart. So, the first reason is because water helps in reduction of blood pressure. Now, imagine the heart pumping blood that looks like porridge versus one that looks like milk. The one, the blood that actually looks like porridge will be pumped at a higher blood pressure than that one which looks like milk, because the one that is more of porridge like is more viscous, while that is which is more milk like is less viscous. That means it can flow easily without using a lot of force. So water is actually the best blood pressure reducing nutrient, because it just makes your blood very thin that it can easily flow through the arteries without the heart using a lot of force to pump it. The other mechanism by which water enhances this is because also when you are having the blood becoming thinner because of increased water intake, we are going to have lesser clots happening in the body. So when your blood is very viscous or thick like mud, let me say it's thick like mud, there's going to be a lot of friction between your arteries and that water. I mean, it's not that water, but that blood. So your blood is thick as mud, and then they are drabbing through the walls of the arteries. What ends up happening is you have these injuries happening alongside the walls of the arteries. Consequently, what you're going to result in is blood clots. It's as if someone rubs your arm or your hands with a lot of force, you get some injury. When those injuries happen, you'll find soon some clots developing. That's the same mechanism that happens if you refuse to drink water. Then your blood becomes very thick. Once it becomes very thick, it rubs against the walls of the arteries, resulting in blood clots. So these blood clots can travel to very vital places in your body. For example, they might be in the coronary artery, which supplies blood to your heart muscles. So the heart muscles can no longer get oxygen in good time. That means they will not have the energy to pump blood, leading to heart failure or even a heart attack. Other times, the clot can be probably when you are in a particular vessel that is supplying blood to your legs. So when this clot is there, it means you're going to have also a lot of water retention in your legs, and this because there's a clot that was occurred as a result of this injury. And sometimes when you want to work out, you also find out that you are struggling to breathe because these clots, maybe they're along the coronary artery that's supplying blood to your heart. You are struggling to breathe because the heart muscle doesn't have the blood which is very rich in oxygen coming to it in good time. So when you're doing an intensive workout that requires the heart muscles to function at a higher pace, you start struggling with your breath. So water is the best blood pressure reducing agent and also the best clot preventing agent. The other mechanism by which water will help in enhancing your heart's health is by ensuring that also the kidneys do not get damaged. Remember, also the kidneys are very important in regulation of your blood pressure. So if your blood is, if the body, if the heart itself is pumping blood that is thick as mud to the kidney filters, try sieve. It's as if you're trying to sieve porridge actually. Can you sieve porridge? No, it's impossible. But that's what happens when you refuse to drink water and maybe just drink 1 glass of water in a day. The kidneys get blood that is like looking like porridge, so they are unable to sieve it. This results in kidney damage. Anytime your kidneys start getting damaged, your blood pressure will go through the roof. That is a sure bet. You can ask people who are on dialysis. One thing also they are one form of medication they're also consuming are antihypertensive medications because of kidney damage. And whenever there's also kidney damage, your electrolytes will also be imbalanced. So you can see this cascade of not drinking water resulting in other problems. The other thing that I find people doing most of a mistake with, let me before I go to the mistakes that people do while drinking water, is that also low water intake raises the ionic concentration in your blood. So for those who did biology, there's something known as osmosis. In osmosis, there's the ions present, and you also have the solvent, which is actually water. So if there's less low water intake in your body, one thing that will happen is that your ionic concentration will be very high. So the ions that are mostly involved in blood are potassium and sodium, which is found in salt. So low water intake means you'll have more salt in your blood and more potassium in your blood. But this is not good, because salt and potassium are very important. Remember, they're very important for the heart to be able to pump blood, for the body to also maintain its electrical rhythm, because potassium and sodium, or salt, they're the electrical carrying units of the body. You carry positive and negative charges throughout your body by the help of salt and potassium. So if their concentration is very higher than that of water in the body, what happens is that you end up with an overcharged. Your body is getting now a higher charge of voltage, which was not necessary. For example, let me give you an example. Imagine if Kenya Power supplies your house with 1,000 kilowatts of power, yet your house, the normal kilowatts it needs is just 250. So it's 4 times the normal. And this happens when you are consuming less water, because the only way the body can remove excess salt or excess potassium is through urine, which is formed from water. You can also remove it through sweat, which is also formed from water. So if water is very low in the body cannot remove excess ions in the body, which will only result in one. If it's happening, if it can affect one, the brain, so you start suffering from depression. Other times it's a headache. Other times it's convulsions that you are also experiencing. Other times it could be even muscle twitches. You cannot control how your muscle is twitching. I've seen that people sometimes with people severally. So you give them maybe something to hold, but they are shaking, like they are seriously shaking. It's because there's a lot of dehydration that is happening, causing an ionic concentration that is also affecting the brain. If it's happening in your heart, you find you have a very poor heart rhythm. That means sometimes you have a low heartbeat, other times it's normal, another time it's just a very fast heartbeat. There's no consistent pattern, because your body is now getting overcharged, and the thing that can remove the excess charges, which is water, is not being consumed well. If it's happening, excuse me, if it's also happening in your with the heart itself, as I mean, it can also result in hypertension, because a raised ionic concentration, let's say now your salt levels are now very high in the body because you're not drinking water, which can remove excess salt. Hypertension comes in. That means you're going to have a higher blood pressure. So you can see how water is very important for your heart health. But there are several mistakes that people do whenever they are drinking water. One is that they assume the porridge that they drank is water. They assume the tea they drank is water. They assume the coffee that had sugar in it is water. They assume the soda that they are taking, or the energy drinks, maybe it's, I don't want to mention brands, but you're taking that energy drink, you're assuming it's water. That is not water, that is sugar. If you think it's water, try taking that soda in a desert, and let's see how that works. So what you want to do is take actually water itself. And I bet you, if you have been doing this, you only end up being dehydrated more and craving for the actual water. So for example, you say, instead of me taking water when it's a sunny day, you opt for soda. Trust me, after some time, you'll just opt for water itself, because sugar is the biggest dehydrating agent in the body. So you lose even more water than even returning more in your body. So consume water itself without assuming that you're drinking water from soda. Then the other thing I've seen that most people will do is that they avoid water because maybe their doctor told them they're having excess fluid retention in their bodies, which is quite understandable, because you don't want flooding the body with more water when there's already excessive water inside the body. But here is the trick that most people don't understand. One, if you're having excessive fluid retention in your body, could be because you're having heart failure. So the Heart is not able to circulate blood through well. You're having blood clots that is blocking the passage of critical vessels. For example, in your leg, you're having clots in there which are blocking the passage of blood. It could also be that you're having kidney disease, and also that you're having loss of protein or protein malnutrition. So even in such a situation, the best thing is that ensure you're consuming adequate protein, because you need protein to have a fluid balance. There's no part of your body that is having excess fluid while another part is looking as skinny, as very skinny, which is so slim. So what you want to have is moderate protein intake, not too excessive, not too low. So ensure you're taking adequate protein. This will help in having that fluid balance. Then the other thing you want to do is do not take all of your water at once. So you know that you're supposed to be drinking 2 liters of water. So if you're already having fluid retention, you'll not be able to hit that 2 liters of water without any complications. What you start with is a liter. You don't want to flood your body also with this liter of water at once. So you just take small sips of that liter of water. It could be you bought a water bottle that is 1 liter. So you ensure that this 1 liter of water, you are able to finish it at the end of the day. Just small sips. Don't do the whole of it. Don't try to create an El Nino in your body while it's not necessarily needed. What you want is just those small sips, those small showers, allowing the body to be able to use that water efficiently without causing more havoc. And since you might be also already on medications that are removing excess water, you have also changed your diet to be able to remove excess water, this water will be efficiently utilized. Another alternative is just buy a 150 ml cup. So this 150 ml is the size of half a cup. If you cannot be able to access a 150 ml cup, you can just use a normal cup, but you only drink half of that cup. So drink half of that cup 7 times in a day. You can start with half a cup when you wake up. You have just woken up. Drink half a cup of water. The next time maybe you have woken up, you have brushed your teeth, you have gone to the shower, you have put on your working clothes or your working attire, take another half a cup of water. You get to work. When you get to work, you maybe do some minutes of work or some hours of work, another half a cup of water. After some time, maybe after 2 hours or 1.5 hours, another half a cup of water. Before 30 minutes before you go for lunch, another half a cup of water. 1.5 hours after lunch, another half a cup of water. 30 minutes. Okay, when you're about to go home, another half a cup of water. So when you reach these 7 times in a day, you'll have clocked a liter of water. But it was just small sips. This allowed the body to be able to adjust its requirements, to be able, without causing too much fluid imbalance in it. So that will be able to help you in the long run. This is also help people who are having problems. Whenever they take water, they are feeling that they have to rush always to the bathroom. You'll always rush to the bathroom if you take all of your water at once. So your body needs to adapt at first. Start with half a cup of water. Personally, I do 2 glasses or 1 glass of water. And this I know I will not cause me to rush immediately to the washroom. And while doing that, I avoid trying to hit 3 glasses of water at once, because I know I will have now problems with trying to look for a washroom. And this is because my body has been able to adjust to a point it can efficiently utilize 2 glasses of water without feeling that urge. But if once I hit 3, that urge comes. But for some people, it's half a cup. Half a cup of water is just maximum for them without them feeling the urge to go to the washroom. So you might try tweaking how you consume water. Don't create an El Nino where it's not necessary. Just small showers. So there are several ways you can be able to realize that you're having actually very low water levels in your body. One is if you are passing very inadequate urine. If your urine output is less than 500 ml in a day, trust me, you're drinking very little water and your kidneys are getting damaged in the meantime. Period. Number 2 is if you're passing very deep amber urine. Your urine looks like strong tea or black tea. That is a very clear sign that you are also dehydrated. Another one is experiencing headaches, though at other times it might be actually you're also having salt deficiency or gluten intolerance. So if you drink a glass of water and still the headache doesn't go away, you can try adding some salt on it, or on that, or licking some salt. If still that doesn't work, you can also, the next thing you have to do is just remove foods that have gluten in them, specifically wheat, because gluten intolerance sometimes manifests as headaches. Fourthly, another way you'll realize you're having inadequate water levels is constipation. And other times it can manifest as also indigestion. You feel like your food is not moving in your stomach, it's just sitting still. And it's like it's a stone that is in that stomach. Other times you're finding it very hard to poop. So you're struggling, you're almost using all your nerves to just push it out. That's also a sign you're having inadequate water intake, or also passing very, very hard stool. Your stool is hard like stone. So that is because you have no water to be able to soften it up. The fifth sign, which is very uncommon or most people have not realized, is depression and moodiness. So whenever the brain is dehydrated, you'll also have depression and moodiness setting in. It doesn't matter whether you're having friends or not, you just seem easily irritated. And that's why you also find that people are on very high sugar diets, they're also easily irritated. Why? Because sugar causes dehydration. When dehydration happens, what happens? You become moody, you become irritated very easily, you become stressed even over small matters. Yeah, so that in bit shows you that water is very important for your heart. And number two is that every organ in your body actually depends on that water. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope from today you'll start aiming to drink more water. Don't drink less than 2 liters of water. And if you have any condition that is more of fluid retention, don't drink less than a liter of water. Do the tips that I've shared with you, and I believe it will work. If you have anything to share, you can also say it in the comment section. Remember as well to subscribe and also share it with a friend. So thank you for watching this video, and see you next time.